Okay, hello. Yes, we are live. Hi, everyone. Hi, those of you that have already joined us. Can I ask you to let me know in the messages if the sound is okay? Because the sound was not okay for the live stream I did on Saturday for the month of July. And I've actually unplugged Boris tonight. He's unplugged, and I'm just going to use the mic on the MacBook. So someone's saying the sound is super. Okay, sound is good, fantastic. Any problems, just let me know. You just never know what it's going to do. So welcome. Here we are again. My goodness, twice in 3 days. So I'm today we are of course already in the midst of the full moon energy. Now, just let me get comfortable. There we go. Now, Capricorn is a very interesting sign, and it's very austere. It's very frugal. It's minimalist. It's streamlined. And my wonderful astrology teacher and mentor, Alison Chester Lambert, who's written several books and is based in the UK. She runs the Midland School of Astrology, and that's who I learnt a lot of my astrology from. She used to say that when she used to have students to her home, when it was the sign of Capricorn that she was sort of portraying, she would turn the heating down. She would only have one light on. And if she was serving tea, no biscuits, just to get the point across that the Capricorn kind of energy and atmosphere is very kind of, well, it's Saturn, isn't it? Saturn, my big boy Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn is kind of like, strict rules, keeping it kind of watching the pennies, streamlined. And actually, so you're a Capricorn 10 degrees, and you've got a great sense of humor, no biscuits. What? Yes, I know. Well, I just thought that was a bit extreme, but there you go. But anyway, this full moon in Capricorn, we're in the energy of it now. It actually turned full at 11:38. That's universal time. So we're a few hours into it now. And it's this full. Well, let me ask you, how have you been feeling? Have you had that sense of kind of, I don't know, impending doom or change that sometimes full moons can bring? So do let me know in the chat if you have any specific experiences of this particular full moon. So here we've got someone saying heavy energy. And so, okay, too much going on for Manuela. Certainly for me, it is hugely busy. And I see somebody's greetings from Scotland. I don't have my whiskey tonight. I've just got my water. I'm being a good girl. Otherwise I'll get carried away and stream this for 3 hours. And I don't think we want that. So somebody couldn't sleep, scared about something about to happen, but don't know what. I don't think anything terrible is going to happen at all. I really don't. But what we do have, and I did talk about it a bit on Saturday, is some extremely interesting astrological energies at the moment. And if we start by looking at the chart for the full moon today, what is very significant is that we have not a lot of energy in the lower hemisphere of the chart, but quite a lot in the upper hemisphere of the chart. Someone here is saying they've been feeling like a disturbance in the force. How wonderful. Yes, it's been a little bit jagged. I've slept for 2 days. I've just been in a kind of a zombie state. Not too much whiskey, I can assure you. I was just tired. And yesterday I did absolutely nothing. I just basically stayed home, stayed in bed for quite a while, got up, went back to bed, and just really chilled. And someone here is tired and mad decluttering. Well, it's this full moon is in the fourth house of the event chart. So it's very much about what's going on at home. But remember, we've also got retrograde Pluto here in Capricorn. And the sun in Cancer, remember, is actually conjunct Mercury, our planet of communication. So there's something about this full moon which I find quite interesting, because it's like we need to take time out and talk to people who are, I think, older than us. I think we need to listen to their wisdom, listen to their experiences. We spend so much time rushing around and only absorbed in our own stuff and our own agendas. And I think sometimes it's really good to just listen to the older generations. I mean, I am an older generation now, so I have to listen to myself. But I can play this back. But in general, what I'm saying is that there's something about this energy that we need to find that inner wisdom. And this full moon, remember, the sun in Cancer is shining her light on the moon. So she's bringing something into consciousness. Now, also, that reminds me, this is a supermoon, which means, quite simply, it's much closer to the Earth than it is at other times on its orbit. So I did catch the full moon last night before I went back to bed for the third time. And I have to say, it was stunning. But I don't bother to take photos on my iPhone because they may be good, these, but they can't take pictures of the moon yet, or at least I haven't found a way yet, because what you get is a little pinhole in the distance and the moon is looking fabulous. And you think, why hasn't it come out on my camera like that? So, it's a time of inner reflection, and it is a time with the sun shedding her light on the moon for us to become aware, to become more aware of our inner wisdom, because sometimes we kind of lose sight that actually we do have an innate inner wisdom. We do have experience. We have the experience of our lives that is unique to us. And, it's just, what can we do? We have to find a way to go within and connect with this. So Mercury, I think, here in Cancer is about that kind of inner connection. Mercury and Mercury and the Sun conjunct in Cancer are actually sextiling my lovely big boy Jupiter, our planet of opportunity, growth, and just very nice, expansive kind of energies. And of course, Jupiter is in Taurus. So it's actually almost quite contradictory, Jupiter, to Capricorn energy, because as I said, Capricorn energy is serious, dour, a bit kind of somber, and Jupiter is kind of like, hey, here we go, let's play. And Jupiter is also trining, which is super helpful, and it's really lovely for trining this full moon. So we do have some super energy for this full moon. But I want to talk about something else as well, because at the end of June, we had this difficult square between Mars, our planet of action, energy, our god of war, squaring my other big boy, Uranus, our planet of shocks and the unexpected, also freedom and rebellion. Well, of course, it's still squaring now, and it's been spilling out on the streets. I don't know what's been going on in America, but I do know, and maybe the Americans watching will know, that what's been happening in Europe is that France has had the most dreadful riots, or because, well, not just because, but sadly because a young boy got shot by police because his car went out of control. It all got, from the sound of it, excuse me, misinterpreted. They hit him. His foot came off the brake onto the accelerator. He lurched forward. They shot him. Just horrendous that these things are happening. It's horrendous for us Europeans because we don't see much of it here. Sadly, I know the Americans have got quite used to it, which is sad because it shouldn't be. Hi, old oak tree. Looking forward to seeing you soon. It is sad that these things become kind of, okay, oh gosh, how terrible. And then we move on to the next thing. So we've still got this energy of Mars squaring Uranus, but joining in the mix, we have Venus. Venus, our planet of love, relationship, finance, also self-worth. Venus is also squaring, that's hard, remember, a hard, challenging angle, our planet Uranus. What does all this mean in conjunction with this full moon? Because we've got these nice aspects of the trine from Jupiter to the moon, the sextile to the sun and Mercury. So that's kind of supporting the energy of the full moon, saying this is good. This brings about good endings. If something has to end, if something has to leave one's life, then it's time. Remember, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is about timing, and it's timely when it comes into this kind of area. And there's a lady here, Wendy, saying that there's so much volcanic activity across Italy. So you're just up the road from me, Wendy, and I didn't realize there was a lot of volcanic activity going on at the moment. We just have to hope and pray Vesuvius doesn't blow her top, because that would not be pretty. I know they say it's a dead or extinct volcano, but is it really? You know, I don't know. I'm sure that's what they thought in Pompeii. Look what happened to them. So anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about all these very somber, morbid things. I do know why I'm talking about all these somber, morbid things, because that's Capricorn. Capricorn really kind of will dwell on these kind of more serious, somber things, you know, the end of this or the death of that. They're not so much into the birth and the new beginnings, which of course we get with Cancer, because Cancer is the sign of the mother, and that's where the sun is. And we have a new moon on the 17th, which of course will be in the sign of Cancer. So we get the swing round with the moon moving halfway round the zodiac to reach her full moon, her new moon position. So it's good energy in that sort of respect. But let's come back to this full moon, because the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that Pluto is going to come into our, let's call it our theatre of play very soon, because Mercury, our planet of communication, is moving ever so quickly forwards in Cancer to be opposing Pluto. Now I've done, and it's not uploaded yet, but I recorded today a video about Pluto opposite Mercury, because what it does is it makes a grand cardinal cross, because both Mercury and Pluto will be squaring both nodes. This is karmic. There's a lot of karmic energy around this month. And I'm going to do a separate video about when the nodes move into Aries and Libra. So the North node will move into Aries and the South node will move into Libra. They always go backwards. in meantime, they appear to go forwards and back, but in kind of true time, they actually always travel backwards, the nodes, whereas all the other planets and cosmic bodies go forwards, but they, apart from, of course, when they're retrograde. Great, that's someone else saying that the sound is good. Thank you so much. Thank you, heavens, divine, and all of that, and sound gods. So that's good. That's great, because I know it's very irritating if the sound is not good. And I've got my fan on and I've got my air conditioning on and I'm still hot. So this full moon, as I said, and the nodes being squared anyway, so the nodes are already being squared by Pluto. So what I want to say is that whatever leaves your life at the moment was meant to leave. It is not meant for you, or at least it's not meant for you now. Also, we have to look at Capricorn in terms of what are the kind of habits perhaps that you've got, or ways you maybe don't take care of yourself well enough. Are there are there habits and ways of behavior that you have where you keep going down the same rabbit hole in the way you react to certain things? I know I do, and I've made a really kind of good mental note to kind of get myself out of it. I'll tell you what it is, because it might be helpful, because some of the rest of you may also suffer with this thing. I have a bit of a kind of a health anxiety attitude to my health and my body. So if my heart misses a beat, I imagine something awful is going to happen. So this has always been an ongoing problem for me. And so, 3 o'clock in the morning, if I wake up and my heart's missing a beat, I go into a total panic and think I'm about to die. Clearly I don't. And I haven't over the last, God knows how many long years, because I'm here. So clearly I didn't. But nevertheless, and I know you know this, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not funny, is it? And we Dr. Google it. We take our blood pressure. We do whatever to try and see if we can understand what's going on with our bodies. Now, I heard something very interesting that really made me think about this in connection with the nodes, and the nodes kind of changing sign, which is what's going to happen. Because what happens is it gives us almost like a window in time to look at these habits that we have, that these old patterns where we behave in a certain way to, say, what I was doing with health anxiety. Something happens, I panic, and I'm not in charge of it. And what I have to do is decide, do I want to live the rest of my life like that? No, I most certainly don't, because it's not doing me any good and it's not doing my body any good. So my current awareness of that, which I think for me, because Capricorn is my 6th house of health, Pluto is currently there giving me health anxiety. What this means, I think, for me, is I've got to stop it. I've got to start trusting. This is really interesting one. Trusting that my body knows what it's doing. Trusting that the way my body works, the way my heart works, actually knows what it's doing, and that I don't know better than it or my body and my heart know better than me about how to manage my physical well-being. And that was such an amazing realization for me when I realized how much I'm not having faith that my body knows what it's doing. I don't know whether any of that makes or resonates with any of you, but for me, I think this was my full moon awareness moment. And I think that, if you can identify in what part of your life you keep going down the same rabbit hole, Like someone a little bit earlier has mentioned about, what about finance, and how about finance? Well, at the moment, Capricorn is quite a frugal sign. So it may bring up more anxieties about not having enough. I won't have enough money. It's all going to run out. And it's really about, we have to look at that Jupiter in Taurus. It's trining Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter is abundance. Taurus is our economy and finance. It's trining the full moon. So it's bringing in the opportunity for us to change our whole attitude about how we view finances. Because, with all the discussions we get about, if you focus on loss and lack, then that's what you experience. I've got videos, early videos on my YouTube channel about the law of attraction and how to work with it. And it is so much a kind of, where we need to kind of stand back and actually look at things in a very different way. With the law of attraction, we make it too complicated. We absolutely overthink it, and it's not. Ask, you shall be given. It's as simple as that. I want to answer this question because somebody's just said, yes, she's a hypochondriac, and you're a Virgo, bless you. Yeah, you will be worrying about your health and obsessed with nutrition. Well, why don't you trust that the food you take in, that your body knows what to do with it, that your body selects what it needs and gets rid of what it doesn't need? Now, there's a different way of looking at it. And somebody, oh, Mimi, oh, bless you, you're afraid to leave the house today. North Node at 15, Mars at 8, Moon at 1. Listen, don't be fearful. But if you want a stay-at-home day, just if that feels better. But one of the things that I think is terribly important with all of this, with astrology, is, I talk about it sometimes like it's the, do you remember The Magician's Apprentice or The Wizard's Apprentice? Where the wizard's apprentice, when the magician is out of the room, he goes and uses the magician's book to cast a spell to get the cleaning done because he's too lazy to do it. And of course, what happens is he gets the spell a bit wrong and he doesn't really understand it fully. So he ends up flooding the place because the buckets keep filling up with water, the brooms keep splitting into two, and there's just chaos until the wizard comes back and sorts it all out. And that's a really good analogy because it's about a little knowledge of something that is a massive subject is not always helpful. We have to not get carried away with the little bits of knowledge we have about astrology. I'm not saying or discouraging you from learning it. What I'm saying is don't get caught into any drama within your chart or within these transits. A lot of them are very transient. And remember, with the outer planets, they're generational. So if you've got some transit to your, I don't know, like in 2020 when we had the Jupiter conjunct Saturn and Jupiter conjunct Pluto, we had these dramatic kind of energies. And for babies born in 2020, they're going to find that, that's going to be a very significant and prominent part of the chart. But it's not going to dominate their lives in any way that they can't handle or can't manage. And, the astrology will never give you anything you can't handle, that you can't cope with. Remember, if you view the astrology as a kind of real opportunity to learn more about yourself, to create with the universe and with the astrology the best life you can give yourself, that is a wonderful use of astrology. The danger is when we know so much, but not quite enough. And that's where I think all of you who are in that state really need, to go that extra mile to actually understand much more than you need to about astrology, because it's only by someone asking here, winning a lawsuit against a narcissist, good luck. I don't mean that. I would have to see your chart. Sometimes you bless you, you ask me questions, but if I can't really see your chart, it's very difficult to make a quick snap decision. Why do I love full moons, Penny? You and I share the same birthday. Hi, Cindy. I've never understood this. This is the same for you as well, or is it completely different for you? Listen, it'll be completely different for me because it depends where your moon is in your chart. We just share the same birthday. We've just both got the sun in Taurus at 24 or 25 degrees. So that the rest of our charts could be completely different. So you love full moons. Maybe you have your moon in Cancer, or maybe you have your moon in Scorpio, which would give you this love of the night and the dark and the sort of, the transformative powers of Scorpio. So, astrology is a massive, massive subject. It's just, Johnny Depp has given me hope. Bless. Oh, bless. I love that. Wonderful. Yeah, this is a massive, massive subject. I've been studying this on and off for over 30 years and have done so many courses and classes until my astrology teacher, who I mentioned earlier, basically kind of kicked me up the butt and said, will you go out there and bloody do it? I can't teach you anymore. Now you've got to do it and that's when you really learn it. When you start doing other people's charts, oh gosh, one's put on the back foot. You have to know your stuff then. You have to learn your astrology. And it's hard work, but it's so rewarding. The one thing I still don't find it very easy to do is actually see my own chart objectively. I suddenly go into some kind of almost like pathetic part of myself that wants my future told. And of course, that's not what it's about. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better at understanding these major energies, especially, I'll listen to other people on YouTube because that gives me a bit of a perspective on my own chart. So kicking a NAS to the curb, absolutely. Meditate and quiet all their noise and then just go for it. Absolutely, Andy Walsh. Absolutely. So Dee says she used to work with the astrology and the universe and understanding where I'm moving forward. I love the moons and work with nature. I do Reiki. That is super use of all the energies that we have around. And yeah, we've got some Reiki master teachers here. And you can use astrology with that kind of Reiki energy. I'm a Reiki master teacher too. I don't practice it now, but it's just such a wonderful tool to have in one's toolbox. And it's just what it is. But listen, any more questions before I bring this to a close? Because it's a Monday night. Also, I know if there's any of you here joining me from the East Coast or even from the West Coast, you have a kind of few days holiday because tomorrow, I believe, is July the 4th. So someone's talking to me from Texas. Hi, Deborah from Texas. I want to wish you all a happy July 4th. So in summary, this is about streamlining your thinking, this full moon. It's about clearing out the clutter in your mind. It's about really looking at what habits and behaviors you have that are so unconscious that you don't realize how they rule your life. Like I've had this aha moment about what I do to my body and don't trust. I mean, for God's sake, I'm not trusting that my heart might know better than me. in how to run my body. I mean, now I say it, it's just like, oh, how much kind of psychological damage am I doing to my body by having these incredibly negative thoughts? So, thank goodness I've woken up today with this realization. This for me is the full moon because it's in my 6th house, Capricorn. I'm a Leo rising, as most of you know. And so here we got from Los Angeles, Americans are not used to the violent death of a teenager by police. We are one of the most restrained people on earth, given the millions of guns in the hands of citizens. Yes, it is terribly tragic. I don't know how we get through this, how we get beyond this kind of culture of, I don't know. Well, it's gone back to, I'll be careful what I say now because it's YouTube, but it's the segregation. It's putting people into categories, and it's, all of that stuff that I'm not going to give names to. But so, because you will be around the something. I don't know what I'll be doing, but thank you, Manuela, whatever you're saying. Bless you. Let's see. Well, I'm glad that someone just said they listened to me and they like the way I do the astrology. Thank you for that. I'm trying to make it accessible. And to be fair, there are some astrologers who do try and make it accessible, but I think a lot of astrologers, bless them, come out with all these kind of technical words. And how do we learn if we don't know what they mean? We can't, because learning astrology, you have to learn like a whole new alphabet or kind of language system. It's a bit like hieroglyphics, and it can become a little bit highbrow. And I want people to learn how to use astrology so they get their chart, they look at the transits for the day, and they go, okay, not great day for me. Watch it if I'm out in the car, maybe have just a quiet day on the sofa. That's what I want to be able people to have and be empowered by their ability to use their astrology for themselves. So somebody's asked me about whiskey and bagels. I've lost the thread now. I saw it just now, but it's gone. Anyway, if somebody was asking about whiskey and bagels, oh, there it is, Mimi. It'll be recorded on Wednesday, and it will be available from Wednesday night, American time. So, and this week, I think we're going to look at the chart of Madonna. And at this grand cardinal cross, and the fact that Madonna has been going through some pretty tough times herself. So that should be hopefully a very interesting episode. So you catch that on Brandon Russ's channel. So remember, always look for Medium Brandon Russ. And we used to put them on both channels, but it gets a bit complicated with monetizing and advertising. So I said it's better it just goes on his channel, and I do my stuff on mine and he does his on his. We definitely do want to do a live whiskey and bagels. It would be, yeah, I absolutely agree, legend. It would be a legend. And we will plan that. I will have a word with him actually and see when we can program that in. The difficulty is the time zones, because for me, it's early evening and I'm not a night owl. And because I'm of mature years, I get tired, and I just wouldn't be my best if I was doing something at kind of like 10 o'clock at night. I'd be rubbish. It was really funny. I watched the most wonderful film yesterday on Netflix. Russell Brand, who I think is just a really funny guy, and he did a comedy tour of the UK, and one of the things he was talking, it was only last year that he did this tour, so one of the things that he's talking about in this this video was, oh God, I'm going to forget it now. It was something terribly relevant to what we're talking about, and I can't remember. Oh, isn't that bloody annoying when it goes? But there's a wonderful film that he's done, which is looking at the pandemic, and it's also looking just at life in general. And he is just a very fun. That was it. He was saying, because he came out and he said he loves doing this. He loves doing the lives on YouTube. And I was thinking, that's what I love. I love doing the lives on YouTube. He said, I love going into a theatre and talking to 10,000 people. And I thought, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to go into a theatre and talk to 10,000 people. He said, but put me at a dinner table with 6 people. No, please don't put me here. Do I have to talk to them? I don't know what I want to say to them. And that would be me too. And I'm all right on a one-to-one, but I don't really, I'm kind of like all or nothing. I love, yes, give me the big crowds to talk to, but I can't talk on that kind of one. So Russell, I'm sure you never watch me, but I really appreciate that. And I want to credit you with that bit of wonderful humor and observation, because I don't want to steal it from you. But it was, yes, he is a genius. I should think when he does these shows, he comes out absolutely exhausted, because he just goes non-stop for like 90 minutes. It must be absolutely exhausting. And on that note, I'm going to bring things to a close. My next live, depending what happens in the world, because we never know when, yes, Russell got us all through the pandemic, actually. Yes, and I love the way Russell really, he tries to look at all sides, and he just goes, this is the evidence. It's up to you what you make of it. And I think that is really cool. But the next live I will do is the new moon, which is on the 17th of July. And unless we get any sort of unexpected news events or anything that happens in the world that I think I'm going to do a live. And sometimes I might just do a live just because I want to do a live. So I don't know. So I'm just going, I love how you credit of course I credit everyone, because I don't want to do anything or claim something for my own that is not my own. And if I've heard something brilliant from another person, I will credit them with it. And I'm often crediting Pam Gregory, Bracker Goldsmith, because these people, Molly McCord, they have such wonderful insight. And I, as an astrologer, really value their learning and learn an awful lot from them too. So Manuela, bye. Yes, bye. So yes, accessibility in astrology is what will raise the collective conscious. Absolutely spot on, Andy. I absolutely agree. And it does have to become more mainstream. And I think then, and what we need is more people like me who are doing this and making it accessible. So hopefully, maybe it's going to be some of you. Who knows? In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. And please remember to like, comment in the comment section. The live chat, I think, gets switched off as soon as I switch off. Subscribe, tell your friends about me, share, subscribe to my website. That course I keep talking about is nearly ready. We're going to edit it this week. So it'll soon be up, soon. Anyway, have a wonderful full moon Monday and enjoy it wherever you are. If you see that wonderful light, go and just moon bathe for a few minutes and enjoy its wonderful energy. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate everything or the way that you support me and all the positive feedback. It means a lot. So now I'm going to do one of Brandon's heart taps, because I think you all deserve that. Bless you all. Now I'm going to click end stream, and this is where you get that inane grin from me for several seconds, because I'm never quite sure when it actually stops. So bye for now.